Hello everyone, you're watching Let's Talk About Prepping. I'm Tyler, your host, and in this video, we're just going to hang out for New Year's, chat a little bit, and talk about what I think would be some good goals for everybody to have for 2020. Oh, there's Hooples. I was going to text you a link, but here you are. I didn't say when I would hop on here. I just said hang on with winky face. But man, you're here. It's all right. It's all right. Calm down. How you doing today, Hooples? Just barely had the chance to greet whoever rewatches this thing before you hopped on here. Just talking about how we're going to have a little bit of 2020 Happy New Year chat and some things that I think would be good goals for everybody to have coming into the new year. Happy New Year. I'm doing well. Just got home from work and ready to do this, and here we are. What goal do you have, Hooples? While you're typing up yours, my goals, as the title might have given away, are to have good finances, good fitness, and to build fortitude. Whatever that means for you, whatever it means for me. I think that those are vague enough and positive enough that everybody can find something that they're willing to achieve to improve their finances, their fitness, and to improve their fortitude. Hey, Hooples, you'll like to know right here in my recommended, yet again, is the Inch Bags Are an Insane Prepping Fad video of yours. I'm not going to try to point it at my screen, but I've watched that video quite a few times because it just keeps getting recommended. To be happy and to have those you like to be happy as well. That is also an appropriately vague, a positive, and achievable goal. I approve of that. By the way, if anybody hasn't seen Hoople's Inch Bags Are an Insane Prepping Fad video, it is a good one, and I'll link it here in the chat. And hell with it, we'll link it in the video description down below because it's a good video, and is that still your most watched video there, Hooples? It's a good video. It's a couple years old, and it's his recommended viral video, and it's a good one. Inch bags are insane for most people. Most people are not prepared to the degree where they need a specific bag for walking into the woods and never dealing with human society ever again. But I think it's cute that we try to do that kind of stuff. Oh no. Oops. Just you and me right now. I'm really not getting either everybody's busy drinking or notifications haven't gone out yet. Yes, that is the best bit of video on YouTube. It's good stuff. Yeah, I see that we have lurkers. Lurking. Probably NSA agents. Hello, NSA agents. How are you doing? Well, anyways, for those who are rewatching, let's have a little bit of chit chat about what would be a good. Oh, hey Jim Beer, how you doing? Oh, he responded to my NSA agent question. What would be good goals for 2020, and why did I pick those ones? Good finances, good fortitude, and good fitness. You're orange and work for NASA. All right. So, good finances. Hello, the Joe info. I don't know what that means, but hello. Happy New Year. So, I think that everybody would be well suited by welcome to the well suited by improving their finances in some way. This is something I want to work on, and something I'm gearing towards working on is improving my finances, whether that's finding a way to save money better or improving my income, expanding my income, um, and learning about finances. Just another freaking. Okay, that's a rather specific acronym, but I like it. It's even better that Hooples knows it. Hello, Robert and Cindy Moore. We're just chatting and talking about finances and fitness and fortitude, which are the goals that I think that everybody would be well suited to have to improve themselves on in 2020. I was just saying that I want to save money better than I do, and I want to make more money than I do, and I want to learn more about good economics. For instance, the stock market. I've never been in on the stock market or things like that, penny stocks. And I feel like that's something that I can make a little bit of money in. Trade a little bit of time and attention for a little bit of money. Yep. Hospital staff don't stop for New Year's. It sort of suck for a lot of people if they did. Stay out of there. Where are we staying out of? Oh, the stock market? Well, annual income 20 pounds. Very good. Mostly I would just be messing with penny stocks, just things that you can pay attention to uh, throughout the day and make little bits here and there. Mostly just to play with it like it's a game. I don't have enough money to put serious money into it to lose serious money in it. Um, well, yeah, I mean, but I don't. I probably have less money to do with it than you guys think that I do. So, I mean, I go to the casino occasionally, but my point being, I see them as the same. I just see the stock market as something that I have a little bit more control over than putting my money in a slot machine. Exactly. That's my point. Is I've gambled before, and I know how to not lose more than what I put in. That kind of stuff. But if I can put whatever the minimum buy-in is with penny stocks and mess around with it and trade a little bit of time and attention to ups and downs and do a little bit of profit, then that'd be fun. But then again, there's probably more efficient ways for me to make more money. Anyways, don't want to get sidetracked on the side stock market. That's just to me like a little fun aside to try to make a little bit of money out of something that I've never considered trying, but sounds fun. I'd be I've always been more interested in producing. So um, crafts, things that are valuable to make. There's I think a couple guys in our community. I don't want to name names in case I'm wrong who was talking about it, but they use woodworking and crafts and things like that just to make just things around the house, dog beds, stuff like that, that sell for a pretty penny at their local markets, local Saturday market or farmers market, stuff like that. And if you've got woodworking stuff, that's pretty easy stuff to make. Well, I don't know. I know that Palmetto, Tony over at Palmetto, and a couple other guys have made a bit of money. I mean, they make it sound like having a gambling app on your computer. And I've never done that kind of thing, but if I can put $100, $200 into something and sit there and buy in and out of stuff and make a little bit of money on the side, that's something I have time for throughout the day. Yeah, Hooples, I definitely do want to at least hit 1K just to have the mark. I'm not hyper focused on trying to get monetized. I think I'm on track with my watch time. My watch time is pretty good, but uh, they'll always I'm always expecting that right is about whenever I get ready to monetize, I'll either get a chunk of my subscribers unsubscribe for me, or they'll just up the benchmark for becoming monetized. What are my interests? Well, prepping is the main reason that I'm here is because a lot of what I end up enjoying or what ends up being a long-term interest that I don't get tired of is survival, outdoors, bushcraft, prepping, stuff like that. So most of what I do, reason that I'm here, and the way that I want to make my money is stuff like this. It's just a matter of figuring out how to do that without selling out, if you will. Catching up with you guys here. My chat's a little bit behind you, so gain subs when you started put adverts on your videos. I believe it. Everybody says that YouTube increases your recommendation whenever you are monetized and able to make money. Yeah, Hooples, I'm always trying to think of ways that I can produce something, but prepping DVDs or electronic lessons are, yeah, good ideas. I definitely want it to be a product. Anything that I would, try to put time and energy into and my name on, I would definitely want it to be something that would be obviously not unique in the world, but something valuable in a somewhat unique way. But one of the things that I am surprised isn't more of a thing. I actually thought I saw a channel starting to make it. I'm going to jump on this now that they've let it slide, but a website for connecting preppers in their states with an aside as a prepper dating site. Another channel had this going, and as far as I know, it's sort of been allowed to peter out. But I think that there is definitely room for entrepreneurship. Prepper Tinder. Exactly. Although I wouldn't want to be the one to get in on that. If you go and read watch videos about the backstories of people who have started dating apps, it's not always a fun road. I mean, they make money, but there's usually some kind of controversy and unhappiness involved. For one thing, dating apps, 1,000 fat men for every somewhat crazy lady. That is not inaccurate. There's plenty of fit guys and plenty of not crazy ladies. Unfortunately, most of them are all married. No offense to any of those who that doesn't fit the bill for. I appreciate it, Hooples. No, I always am trying to think of something that would be the main thing that I always come back to is advising people who, hey, Stringfield, how you doing? Glad you could drop in. The main thing that I think that there is an honest need for in the world is actual advisement to new preppers who are serious about it and obviously have the money to spend on receiving advice, counseling or whatever you will on what to do. And that's not to say that I'm necessarily some emergency preparedness guru who's been trained by somebody else on what to do. But yeah. But even Hooples, I mean, if you kept a low overhead, it would not be too hard for a person to fly out to people's places and really help them with a hands-on approach to looking at what they have and getting set up. Or doing some kind of virtual thing where they do video feeds of what they have. But my understanding is that a lot of prepper advisors, these big channels that sell their services, it's it's a lot of money, and it's always unclear what they're offering. But there's a lot of people who get into prepping and waste a lot of time, money, and energy by following bad advice. And it's the kind of stuff that people who have just been watching on this community long enough have the credentials to keep them from making those kinds of mistakes. And just having somebody like anyone who's been on this community for a few years there to say that right there is a rookie mistake to avoid would be valuable for a lot of people. But at the same time, a lot of those things are things that could be provided through a YouTube channel that a person can do for themselves. So I'm always on the fence of, I don't know, I'm the kind of person who will always try to do things for themselves rather than pay for it. And so I sort of talk myself out of things that I could actually charge other people for, because in my mind, people would not pay for that. But people will pay for a lot of things. Stringfield is ready to get aggressive with the homestead agenda. That's great. I really wish I was in the place to get land. I tell you what, if I had the ability to have land, I'd be doing some serious work. There are homesteading channels where I'm just astounded at the, I don't know, lackadaisicalness of it. When I've been trying to live off grid, every day is too busy to have a YouTube channel, let alone have just sort of nice and easy updates about, oh, here's life on the homestead. It's a constant scramble to get things going. Quit vaping and drinking. That's the problem. The vaping and drinking is either incredibly cheap or free for me. So I have almost no money to save from stopping it. But yes, there's a lot that I can do to tighten the belt and save the money. So sell it instead. That would be a matter of questionable legality. But yeah, no, I mean, the ultimate goal of the channel and of my entire existence is to get back to building the cabin and owning the property. It'd be profitable. Yes, black market goods are usually rather profitable, Hooples. But yeah, I mean, it bums me out that I never thought of starting a YouTube channel back whenever I was living off grid and trying to develop raw property into something that I could move my mini home out onto back when I was building my mini home. Well, good night, Rob and Cindy Moore. Thanks for dropping in. Good chatting with you. We'll catch you later. Nothing blew up there yet. It's still not even, 11 o'clock yet? It's 11:07 here. Exactly. We still got time to blow up. Screw LA. What about Idaho? Don't say screw Idaho. Then again, things very rarely blow up in Idaho. I grew up in Texas. I was born in Washington, grew up in Texas, grew up in Oregon, and grew up in Idaho. Yep, I like Clint. He's a good guy. You have a house in Idaho. Whereabouts? The Pope smacked a woman. I'm surprised by this. Was she possessed by demons? Oh, yeah. And I have an anti-millennial bashing agenda for 2020. That's one of my secret agendas for 2020. I think that's a nice little trend that should probably pass on by now. Yeah, as far as I know, Clint Eastwood's a pretty decent guy in real life. Held his hand too long, so he smacked her. Interesting. Boise. I don't know if I've ever even been there, to be honest. It's like a different country. Different state. I mean, different country, sure. Millennial bashing. I mean, I get it. There's a lot of dumb things that millennials do, but and I don't even identify with it whenever people are bashing on millennials, because I realize that I really am not I've never fit in with my peer group, if you will. But it's getting old. It's almost getting as old as hearing people need to bring Trump up anytime something negative is mentioned. Like, oh, this guy's a really bad person. Oh, almost as bad as Trump. I mean, I don't really even like Trump that much, but I'm so sick of being in a random comment section and somebody needs to go, yeah, but not as bad as Trump. It's overplayed and it's over. And so is the whole, oh yeah, but I bet millennials don't even know anything about that meme. Oh, you're fine. I don't know that we have any Catholics in here. I mean, I'm pretty sure that it's generally accepted that the position of Pope doesn't necessarily come with like an inherent aura of holiness, I guess, if you will. I mean, haven't the majority of popes been horrible people who like kept harems and stuff like that? Bought their way into the position. Maybe not the majority, but enough of them that it's like, it's sort of a thing. But no, it just I find it to be unbecoming whenever people do the millennial bashing thing, especially because, like it or not, millennials are the future. And it just seems very like a zero-sum game to basically say that the generation that's going to inherit the earth is just completely useless and do nothing about it, despite the fact that the generation doing the bashing is the one responsible for the next generation being as useless as it is. Until there's a female pope. That'll be, I was actually thinking this earlier. I've got no problem with James Bond being a black woman, but I think that she needs to be American. Because if we can change things, we can change anything. And I think it's about time that James Bond is an American. To be honest, Stringfield, I think that it's impossible to gauge the intentions of someone like that. And I would have to pay far too much attention to him to really gauge what I think about that. Oh, yeah, he's definitely not evil or deranged. He definitely that's the thing that bugs me is there are definitely bad things to be said about him. So December 27th. I thought that would get you, Hooples. There's definitely bad things that can be said about Trump. So whenever people say that he's a psychopath that wants nothing but to watch the world burn, it really discredits it. It's getting old, and there's no credit to it. Whereas if they were to actually point out things that he has done wrong, that's actually something. But yeah, I mean, why not? If it's going to be a black woman, why can't she actually be a Native African? Why does she have to be, a mainlander? Because no matter what we make it, it wouldn't be equal if it was something besides, a royal subject. I feel like my comments are very far behind you guys. Year 3 and he has not bombed the Russians yet. No fly zone, Clinton. Ooh, Inuits. Yeah, that's a good one. Get some First Nations people. Why not? I mean, Canadians are part of the Commonwealth. Surely some of the double O's are from Canada. Oh, come on, Hoobles. We can fix that with one line of dialogue. Thank goodness MI5 opened agent status open to anybody from former colonial states. I'm drinking Ace Pear Hard Cider. It's pretty good stuff. Yes, flavored gunk. Yes. Yep. Trump bought the UK. Well, Hooples, I hear we're getting into a war. Just in time for Virginia, which I would rather not get into. No, I've not watched The Witcher yet, but I remember hearing that it's a good show. Maybe I'll have the chance to check that out this weekend. And you're a nurse, go figure. Yep, probably getting paid good money to watch my ugly mug. Have I watched The Witcher? Hey Anna, how you doing? Time and a half for doing this. Wow. Cheers to you, Hooples. You're the real winner here tonight. I'm not even getting paid at all to do this, and you're getting paid time and a half. Look at that. You dog. Let me make sure you're talking about the Patriot Nurse, not yeah. No, I haven't been watching her for a little bit. Get a profession. Yeah, I've actually thought that. I need to give me a job where I just get paid for not doing anything. I mean, not that you never do anything. I'm just saying, a lot of jobs you just always got to be doing something to make your money. Oh, come on. How did I trigger you again? Wait a minute. Who killed themselves at Christmas? Oh, that's why you're slaving in the ICU? Is that what you're saying? Or why Kitty is? Oh, okay. I don't know what HMPV is, but that it sounds like an acronym. $500 shootings. Where's that? Is that Canada or Toronto? Wait, what would you love there, Anna? Am I missing comments here? Oh, okay. Gotcha. I think I'm not getting all the comments in my StreamYard. Human metapneumovirus. That sounds fun. 500 shootings just in the greater Toronto. Dang. All right. I got a question for you guys. I got a few people here who probably have a decent opinion. What do you think are things that are valuable for uh, valuable returns for Patreon and similar things for a prepper, homesteading, etc. channel like mine? Outside of the usual, oh, you have a cool channel and we'd like to throw money your way. I'm thinking things like, heading out, Robin, Cindy. Oh yeah, you said that earlier. You have a good night. No, no, no. All right, so I've thought about doing the Patreon seriously, but I would want it to be something interactive and something that actually is more than just a subscription service for people. So the first one would be not a subscription like a Pocket Box or those things. Although I have thought about doing something like that and doing serious reviews on the items and then sharing the items with the Patreon members. For real, it's time to look at the trading group. All right, I'll do that, Robin, Cindy. I'm not sure what it is about, but one of the options would be the Patreon money goes towards reviewing an item that is suggested by Patreon members, and I purchase it, test it, and if it passes, everybody gets one, or something like that, or one individual member gets one based on lottery. Or just, yes, getting in a Pocket Box or something like that and doing actual torture tests on the products and sending out the ones that are decent out to members. And yes, I've thought of something like that, what they do over at Full Spectrum Survival. And it would need to be something huge startup costs and shipping. Yeah, and that's the one thing is that I would like it to be something that's not building up a huge infrastructure of labor and stuff. Yeah, very true. The Patriot Nurse. I'll have to check out the Patriot Nurse again. There was something that turned me off of the channel, but I'll definitely check it out. But curious what people think would be decent returns on something like that. I mean, a lot of people are willing to just support a channel because it's decent and they want to make sure that it, they stick around and do a lot of stuff. But I'm not quite ready to be doing that. Find a small bandana maker, sell them with advice on. See, that's actually a really good idea, Hooples. I like that one. One other thing that I've thought of would be like getting a 3D printer and programming small just tools that you can make out that are very reliable out of 3D printed materials, or get a extruder, some kind of simple molding machine, and actually making tools and printing them with advice. Oh, that's good. There are channels that you'd Patreon if they would just stop making content. That's actually really fair. Maybe we should push that as an idea. Unpatreon. I really like that, Hooples. That is perhaps one of the best ideas I've ever heard. You got a metal flat thingy lunar lander model. Oh, you did? Cool. Yeah, one of the one of these guys, where you build the model out of the stainless steel plates. That's cool. Those things are fun. And it's a symbol of American superiority. I salute you, Hooples. You should try to write, Anna. Might make you some money. I guarantee you, Anna, you write better than BuzzFeed authors do. Oh, but that's cool, Hooples. I'm glad you thought of me. They're pretty fun. If you don't have time for it, stick it in a bug-in kit for a kid whenever you get stuck in your office or something. Next time you get stuck at the hospital, you'll be able to give it to someone for the 12-hour power outage or whatever. Probably won't be able to build it during a power outage, but oh, that's cool, Anna. Yes, Hooples, I fear that Apollo might have been one of our finest hours. Hopefully we'll have some more of those. Yes, that might be true. They might. You got to think about that kind of thing, Hooples. Yeah, Stringfield. I think that was why I stopped watching her, was because I just wasn't digging the aggressiveness, the zealousness of it, if you will. Although I am impressed. She has a lot of energy, and she does not get tired of doing that every single day. I don't know that I could. Well, I know that I couldn't, because I wasn't able to listen to it day in and day out, let alone be able to rant, if you will, like that. Nurses are superior to what? Hooples. They're not homesteading, but they definitely are living a modern mainstream 2020 lifestyle. They're trying to be a little bit more towards the off grid type stuff. I mean, they got a wood stove, right? Don't you? E-magazine. Well, Hooples, that is actually the first thing that I would do would be to start a website. I want to find a domain where I can host all my videos on it completely independently from anything else, so that no matter what, I'm able to put stuff out, have somewhere where I can put videos with copyrighted music on it just because I want to. Mother Earth News is a glossy mag. Yeah, I mean, I could see me doing that, and just doing a website that actually caters to prepper stuff. Like I said, do a way for people to actually find other people in their area. Oh, okay, Anna. I don't know why I got that idea then. My bad. But yeah, I definitely want to do a website with articles and videos. Actual articles with decent information in them and stuff. Some online services like connecting people in their local area. Um, One thing that I would like to do is do some kind of prepper commissary, if you will, um, like a marketplace, if you will. Have some standardized products that preppers with sewing skills or some kind of basic manufacturing skills can have the template for making things on commission, basically, and have a way to connect people who are looking, for instance, if there are preppers out there who have the sewing machines and the ability to make little ammo pouches out of good materials, then um, you could have a standardized. We could be making dump pouches for cheaper than Voodoo Tactical, and then selling them to each other, and having some of the guys who want to get some of that tactical fun gear but don't quite have the money for it to send their money to people who don't have any money at all but have the time to make some crafts. Um, those are some very basic things, but it'd be a very simple service to set up on a website. Um, but yeah, and that's true, Hoobles. Content is the hardest thing, especially if you're trying to make something that's uh, making productive content that is actually helping people beyond just regurgitating stuff that they could find elsewhere. I mean, that's a lot of what we do here, but repackage it and stuff like that with new analysis and stuff. But earned about $500 from a prepper. From a prepper, what exactly? Write. Oh, did you write articles? Is that what you're saying? Hey, Uncle Al, how are you doing? Well, and that's the other thing, Stringfield. I definitely do want to create a platform to push prepping to more common people. And part of that is the branding and the packaging of it. Um, so it's sort of a matter of deciding if we want to if you want to brand yourself towards the community or towards newcomers, people who are not already steeped in the culture of the online prepping community. Huh, that's interesting, Hoobles. Are you really, Uncle O? Really heading to Alberta? Yeah, preppers tend to have no money. That's very true. Then that's the next question. Who are we branding towards? Are we branding towards boomers or millennials? Because it's two completely different languages. What time is it? Well, for me, 11:37, which means it's like 2:40 over there. Oh no! It's still 2019, Hooples. Till the date line is crossed for the last time. Anna, you need to pick a side. I'm sorry. Generation X is just gonna have to pick a side or get lost in the no man's land. No, Generation X is just the one with the most kids, is all, and the least money. At least there's some millennials out there with like some Bitcoin to spend or something. No offense, Xers. Yeah, Hooples. Yes, I know the song, Anna. Yeah, Hooples. It's just largely a matter of packaging. What are you linking here? Oh, yep. Makes sense. Hooples likes to link the songs that get referenced. Not even my generation. That's funny. Yes, I can understand why you might be the lost generation in that regard. But let's be fair. If you're referring to millennials in the third person, millennials are probably going to boomer you. I mean, to millennials, anybody older than millennial is old world, talks bad about millennials, responsible for the way the world is, you name it. I've meant to make a video about this, aside from getting fed up with millennial bashing. It remains to be seen, and I don't have any market research on this, but I do think that there's a little bit of an us versus them mentality among the majority of millennials. No new generations here. It's true, Hooples. Every generation thinks the next generation sucks. Um, I mean, this generation sucks. And I have things that I dislike about people who are 6 years younger than me. Your children, I don't know. I don't know what they're calling them nowadays. But, I wonder what millennials and on will do with past generations whenever we inherit the earth. I think that a lot of millennials are sort of disenchanted with past generations. I'm not necessarily speaking for myself. I appreciate past generations quite a bit. But I think that there are a lot of millennials who are going to be a little bit spiteful towards past generations when all is said and done. Not only because of the world we're inheriting, but because we're also being told we're stupid while being handed a steaming pile. Yeah, I can appreciate that, Hooples. And you had to deal with the 80s and the early 90s. I mean, it must have been rough. Well, I'm going to go use the facilities before the new year arrives in civilized lands. I'll be right back. Nobody's in charge. Hey, the hair was probably the best part of the 80s, let's be honest. I mean, I would never do it, but I'm glad someone did. Well, the generation after Aristotle was feckless, and there's been no fecks ever since. We've got no fecks to give. The eye makeup was also good. The best part was that the men were still manly. I mean, I appreciate that everybody was like, no, that's manly. It takes a man to have poofy hair and eye makeup, and it was just accepted. It shows that humanity can evolve. Oh yeah, all the manliest men chop down trees to disco music. If you actually think about it, the beat to most disco songs is perfect for chopping down wood at like a really fast rate. And also for drawing a long saw back and forth with a partner, you know. Just pick your favorite disco song and imagine somebody either chopping the wood just back and forth with the rhythm or just pulling a draw saw back and forth to it. It works perfectly. Am I right though, Anna? I think I'm right. I mean, just think of Staying Alive to the Bee Gees and imagine two manly lumberjacks on opposite ends of like a giant redwood with a draw saw, staying alive. So Hoople's conservative years were just a bad dream for him. Too much champagne. What kind of champagne you drinking there, Anna? What is it? Oh, is it the BG's link? Oh, poor Anna. I almost got a little bit of champagne, but Hooples, I don't approve of this. See, I like a little bit of JBJ. A little bit of living on a prayer. You drink a smoothie? Is that your is that you getting a little loose and crazy on New Year's at work? Sugars, going crazy on sugars, getting a sugar high. Let's check it out, Hooples. Yeah, nope, not available for use in your YouTube videos. Stringfield is drinking Moscato. Yeah, I got nothing of the sort. I had a little bit of Prosecco? Moscato? Prosecco the other night just to try it out, but nothing tonight. I think I might have myself a little bit of bourbon whiskey at midnight. Champagne is pretty hard to pour. I'll be right back. Gonna grab a glass for some whiskey, actually. White Star Champagne, huh? Is that like the White Star Line, famous for the sinking of the Titanic? I'm using a glass because I don't want to taint the rest of this bourbon with nasty Tyler lips. I mean, I know it'll sterilize it, but I don't. What about it? Anna, I'm willing to bet you've poured too many champagnes. You're always soused on my live streams. Just kidding. Wouldn't surprise me, Hooples. I mean, is it though? Isn't that just something that everybody does? You're just trying to get me to take my shirt off and check the tag. I know your games. Well, Hooples, I know you got some booze hidden in your office. Why don't you take a drink with me? I mean, if it is a Canadian company, then you're welcome. It helps to support your economy. That's funny, Anna. Dry there? Oh no. Stringfield, are you thinking about Roots, the movie, like with Kunta Kinte? Man, it's been a quiet live stream. I mean, I enjoy it, but I was surprised that it's been so quiet, to be honest. Yeah, sure looks like that brand. Mm. That's cool. I just figured it was something somebody screen printed locally. But it makes sense that there's just one company pumping them all out. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense, Stringfield. I wouldn't be surprised, Two Pools. We're pretty close to the Canadian border, so it wouldn't be out of the question for someone to be getting them from over the fence, if you will. Well, it's midnight here, so happy official New Year's. I think there's only weirdos like the Hawaiians yet left. Oh no, you're fine, Stringfield. Actually, happy New Year, everybody. Um, homesteading is one of the themes under my umbrella here. I don't often tout it as a theme, but it definitely falls under my perspective of prepping, uh, homesteading, and sustainable living and stuff like that. I have often been somebody who helped on homesteads. There's a lot of homesteading in my area, and salute, prost. Um, Actually, a lot of the work that I used to do was just helping doing basically farm hand work and handyman services on a handful of homesteads and farms in my area. Um, exactly what Hoople said. Homesteading is the logical end goal of prepping. Everything that you do in prepping becomes more efficient if you've set up your home in a sustainable living homesteading fashion. You just buying bulk food and rotating it, producing things for yourself. If you're really getting serious about prepping and doing more than just trying to buy your way out of it, you're going to end up doing something like homesteading or living on a green off-grid sustainable household kind of thing. So that is the end goal. In fact, I started saying that earlier, that I used to be working towards that actively. I have a mini home that I built myself, um, and I was clearing raw land to build my little homestead on, and that didn't work out for relationship reasons. But if I had my way, if I had the ability to take out the loan I would be buying land and starting a homestead, and I'd be one of those channels doing it my way. And that is the goal for the future, is to one day be doing the let's talk about homesteading style prepping. And I do touch on it and talk about it, but I try to be hands-on with a lot of the stuff that I do. So, done videos on what exactly? But yeah, unless I'm visiting a fellow channel with a homestead or a little bit of land, I don't usually touch on my perspectives on how to homestead, because it'd be a little bit of backseat driving, if you will. Just videos on the prepping and homesteading being the end point of prepping. No, but I have meant to in the past. Oh, the tiny home. No, I haven't yet. But if things go well this weekend or the upcoming week, Prepper's daughter will be visiting me. That's definite. But if things go well, we'll be going up to where I used to live, where the tiny home is sitting, and maybe do a little bit of video sharing that and talking about the process of building it and stuff. That was all years ago. I built that with an ex-girlfriend a few X's ago. She actually ended up with it. Then I bought it back from her. Oh, the tangled webs we weave. I will, Hopeful. She'll be here Friday, so hopefully we'll be at least doing videos, maybe doing a live stream. Don't want to talk for her, but I bet I could convince her. But yeah, we're hoping to get up to where I used to live. Podunkville, last stop before Canada. Literally, I used to live in the town with the last stoplight before Canada. And there was still a town between there and Canada, but it didn't have a stoplight. But yeah, it's a nice area. That's where Ruby Ridge is at, where Randy Weaver had his little showdown with the feds. Well, not right there, but very near there. That is a video that I have been planning to do. That location is pretty inaccessible during the winter, but yes, Souples, if I really wanted to, I could bug out into Canada. And it's not out of the question. There's a lot of wilderness up there. Fight for what you believe in. I agree. I would only preface that, which it is very good, but I would only say achieve what you believe in without having to fight for it. And I only say that because so many people are eager for a fight these days. And I'm talking about Virginia. And I do not want a civil war. And I'm afraid that a lot of people are pushing for it who shouldn't be. But aside from that, yes, fight for what you believe in. Oh, thank you, Stringfield. I appreciate that. Well, Lana, see, that's the thing is there's always somewhere to bug out to. Um, and I'm not calling you out, but that is sort of the pitfall of the idea of bugging out. And by the way, Hooples, I do also plan on doing my own videos on why bugging out is crazy, uh, in the sense of what preppers think of it as. Um, I believe in bugging out, and I believe in inch bags, and I believe in all that kind of stuff. But to me, each one is very specific. Each one has a very realistic reason why you do it and a very realistic way that you do it. And none of it has to do with what the prepping community calls it. In fact, a lot of the reason why I started my channel is because of the terminology of the prepping community. And my prepper terminology series is one of my most neglected, but one of the ones that I care about the most. Because you do have somewhere to bug out to. It's just not, you don't have a location near you that fits your criteria for a bug out location. Yeah, fight with words. I like that. So many people, most people's opinion of bugging out is informed by what they think that will entail, what would drive them out of their house. And on one hand, I think that most preppers will be forced to bug out in a way that will be uncomfortable to them. It will not be what they expect. For instance, they'll simply have to abandon their home, and most of their preps will be useless to them because they'll simply become a refugee. And for many of the people, like for instance, you're worried that you don't have a bug out location to go to. I'm sort of assuming that you're thinking of like a nice big chunk of wilderness without a dense population area around it. And most situations will not require you to go somewhere where you're as far from people as possible. There are a few, but in most situations, most of us will probably end up in a campground in a national park, camping for a while, regardless of the situation, whether it's a flood, a wildfire, a natural disaster, a meteor striking the area that we lived in, like the Tunguska event or something. It's more likely to be a shift where just a bunch of people from one area have to leave their area for a while for some reason or another. Yeah, and but even then, you have to ask yourself why people are trying to take each other's houses. Like, what is the benefit to it? I mean, I'm sure that there are situations where that might be the case, but it's almost, I almost think that might be even too fantastical for a lot of situations. I don't know. In a lot of situations, people won't be going and hitting houses. It'll just be too, I don't know. A lot of people imagine these fantastical movie-like situations where people are hitting a house every single day. But if you look at third world countries, it's more opportunistic than that. You're more likely to get mugged on the street than somebody to come and take your house, especially if you live in a nice big brick house like yours. All you guys need to do is make your doors obviously pretty barricaded, and people probably will not be too worried about home invasions. They'll be waiting until you go to the store or something like that. Exactly what Hooples and Robert and Cindy are saying. Trash your house and make it look useless and worthless anyways. But yeah, most situations will be nothing like what we expect them to look like. They're going to just look like a very uncomfortable version of our current life, basically. Um, and that's actually part of why I want what my goals for 2020 are is finance, fitness, and fortitude. Because a lot of these situations are not going to have us bugging out or reacting to conflict or things like that. We're going to need to be able to get by using our own finances. We're going to need to be able to get by being fit and being able to withstand physical hardship. And we're just going to need general fortitude to get by and sustain our lifestyle. Because the more that we go, the less I believe that it's going to be emergencies that we need to worry about. I mean, those are going to happen, but all in all, they're going to be individual events that are unremarkable to anybody who is not there. The way that the news cycle works nowadays, no individual event is going to be catastrophic for everybody. Almost none of the events that have happened in human history would be catastrophic to everyone in the world nowadays. If you look at, even Mount Vesuvius, even if hundreds of thousands of people die, that happened in the Christmas tsunami, and the rest of the world watched it and went on. It was a tragedy for everybody who was involved in it. Exactly. It's not an SHTF until it happens to you. And that's actually part of the reason why I don't believe that anything that happens in Virginia will lead to a civil war. Even if Virginia itself, the entire state, were engulfed in a running gun battle, I honestly believe that the rest of America might continue to run and function around it, because we have gotten so used to crazy things happening on the news and then just carrying on with our life that I actually do almost wonder how much could happen and the rest of the world just sort of chugs on around it. But regardless of what happens everywhere else in the world, it is entirely possible for things to become more expensive and more difficult to do on a day-to-day basis, and just make your lifestyle harder and harder to maintain. And the only way to protect against that is to constantly improve your finances, constantly improve your own personal fitness and health, and constantly fortify your lifestyle and all the things that you need to maintain that. Yes, Hooples, that's very true. You know nothing about Virginia. I applaud you. Likely in a few weeks, it will not matter that you had no knowledge about it. Basically, America, gun rights, America, controversy. Can I talk about fortitude? That is a catch-all term for just fortifying your stuff besides your finances and your fitness. And it was an F word that fit in with the others. Yeah, Hoople's usual BS. I could get into it and explain why people care about it more this time and why. I might, but Yes, the A10 is a very mean piece of modern equipment. It's very impressive. The Warthog is a very mean machine. Um, all right. So, yes, napalm sucks as well. So, Fortitude. It's actually something that I would like to expand on. It's basically the basis of a lot of prepping, but it's it is it's sort of the background of what a lot of what we do in prepping pertains to. Uh, but there's an essence to it that I think gets ignored. Uh, Fortitude being personal fortitude, knowing your morals and your goals. And that is actually something that is lacking in prepping. I often wonder why preppers are doing what they do. I think it's often a fear based response. Um, for instance, for me, where I get a lot of fortitude is wanting to build something enduring. I'm not worried about leaving a mark myself. Everybody gets forgotten, and I'm okay with that. I'm not looking to be remembered or be immortal in that sense. But to another degree, I believe that the only way to achieve any kind of immortality or life beyond yourself is by leaving a lasting example to other people. And that's why I prep, is for my nieces and for if I ever have children or any children that I come into my life that I care about. Yeah, resilience, I guess, but in a more proactive sense than just in a way to resist hardship. Um, just building up ahead of, I mean, fortitude, both meaning a state of being fortified and also mental fortitude, knowing why you do what you do, having good reasons for it, and having a motivation for it beyond just that's what I do. I think for a lot of preppers, it's what they've ended up on. It's just the hobby that they have. I know for me, to a certain extent, that has sometimes been the case. Um, but also just having good reasons for why you do it and having it be something that is a baseline, your main reason for things beyond just a decent hobby, something that you're not going to burn out on because it's important. Yeah, I mean, well, not just mental. I that's part of why I like it as a vague concept, because it covers so many bases. Um, fortitude covers just having the fortitude to last through a drought or a famine, having plenty of water and having plenty of food, but also having mental fortitude to whether, it's just everything. It's just another way to encapsulate everything that we do. You can have the mental fortitude to face challenges. You can have the fortitude and resources to get by lean times. Yeah, Robert, you've said goodnight a few times, but I'm glad you're still here. Brushed your teeth with Jack? Well, at least it's sterilizing. Deep South Homestead? I don't, but I'll check it out. Yeah, I'll admit, Hooples, I picked the word fortitude because it worked with fitness and finance, but also because it does encapsulate things that I think are important to prepping. Um, a lot of, like I said, I think a lot of prepping for a lot of people is a fear-based response, and that leads to people being pretty flighty or flip-floppy with what they believe in and why they're prepping. I can't tell you how many times people have uh, just shown loose logic. They're just willing to believe whatever supports their personal viewpoints, which isn't a sign of fortitude. Um, I think that if you have good reasons, good strong reasons why you do what you do, then um, what you claim is the background for why you prep or whatever is not going to change from time to time, whether that's the grand solar minimum or Obama or climate change or whatever. Um, Fortitude is a matter of having a reason to do what you do that doesn't change with the current political climate of things. No, not Jack or tequila, Kentucky bourbon. Exactly, Hoopables. It is, for many people, a fantasy. Um, and sometimes I forget how many people are outside of our little bubble here, because many of the people in our little echo chamber on YouTube are very rational people who don't follow the general prepping narrative of guns blazing to the bug out retreat and stuff like that. I often forget that that is still the overwhelming negative narrative. I'm sorry, of the community, and so sometimes I end up asking myself what I have to offer, but then I'll go on to a more common live stream with a lot of regular preppers on there and realize there is just still so much misinformation and sloppy thinking. And that's part of what I mean with fortitude, is that so many preppers are just milling about, being flighty, heading to the next trend or whatever in the community. And I think that I would like to see a little bit more fortitude and solid thinking spreading in the community outside of just a few channels that we have here talking to each other, basically preaching to the choir. Because we have a lot of really smart guys in our community and gals, just good channels who are just sort of, preaching to the choir, telling each other things that each other really already know. I think it's about time to start spreading a little bit of fortitude, a little bit of steady, logical thinking to the community. Hooples, I think I just sort of stumbled on it, to tell you the truth. I agree that it is an excellent term for defining what we do here, and, as sort of a background concept. And I'm sure that people have used it before. I'm probably not the first. It definitely strikes me as something that maybe channels with a little bit more of a religious slant to them would use. Fortitude seems a little bit more of a I don't know, it seems like something that a channel worried with biblical preaching would bring up. But no, as a general prepping concept, I haven't heard anybody really using it to umbrella a lot of the stuff that we do. But I would like to see it as a little bit more of a common theme, having people asking themselves how they are fortifying their various things. Every subject has been taught to death. I agree with you, Gray Man. How you doing? Happy New Year. I do not know what that is, Anna. Oh, okra. Okra. I don't know how that's pronounced, but I know what that is. Happy New Year, GMO. Okay, yeah, I'm aware of what it is. I just spacing on it. I haven't played it more than once or twice. Yeah, I'm sorry, Anna, but that pronunciation, a a Yushre, that's what I got out of that. Cheers. Prost. Gambai. Euchre. Yes, that's the one. You people. Whatever happened to just poker? Oh, come on. Hmm. Salut. So much. Nobody wants to talk about our family because it's Lee. Lee. I mean, are you talking about like General Lee, or what are you talking about there, Robert? Or like Asian Lee? I mean, I are you like because of the political past of it? I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Yes, the General Lee was a particularly racist car. I don't think that Rob and Cindy are descended from that car, though. Well, if people think that you're racist because you're descended from General Lee, then that would be pretty ridiculous. Come on, Hopos. Why are you embarrassed by the Dukes of Hazzard? Are you related to them somehow? I mean, let's be honest. Everybody's related to a racist. Go back far enough, and your ancestor killed somebody off for being different. Yep, Gray Man's right. Everybody's racist to a point. Okay. Half glass of cold duck left, and then it's night night. Is cold duck like wild turkey? Because if it is, then yes, that's night night. But I don't think it is. Oh, champagne. Is it racist to say that everyone is racist? Uh oh. We are buffering. Yeah, you're right, Hooples. You're British. You guys did F everybody up. If it wasn't for the British, things would be different. A Brit in Canada is messed up. Fortified champagne. So wait a minute. You're saying that cold duck is like prepper champagne? It's fortified? Yeah, Hooples. I mean, let's face it. Not only did... It's not that the British were one of the most successful empires in the history of the world. It's that they created an aristocracy out of it. It was like, yes, old chap, we're better than everybody else. They created an art form out of drinking tea while the colonials had war outside. And don't get me wrong, I think that's classy as hell, but it's also wrong. All right, I know who Doc Martin is, but Monty Python had a far larger effect on my life. Yeah, vegan dickheads. They're vegan dickheads. They're making it up. Don't worry. The UK weather was so bad that they conquered the rest of the world and then gave it away by getting... Do you think it's because you got bored, or do you think it is because of various other socio-political reasons? I mean, I'm sure if it was sporting enough, then you probably would have kept doing it, but Doc Martens or shoes? I'm sorry, I thought Doc Martin was a TV show. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Oh, they are shoes. What am I thinking of? I don't know. Shoot. I was thinking of a TV show. I don't know what it is. Definitely not Doc Martin. Yep, they're boots. I remember that now. Yep, completely wrong. You're right, Hooples. That just goes to show the social impact that they've had on me. Called stompers. I've heard of those. I've heard of stompers. I stand by what I said, though. Monty Python has had a stronger effect on me than Doc Martens have. And it's spelled with an E. So it shows what you guys know. Oh, God. It's such a boomer thing to do. I feel like a boomer right now. You hear that? A stomper is boots, Anna. Boots. Just regular American footwear. What are we looking at here? You know, Hooples, you link so many things. I might need to take your moderator status away. I just never know what it is. Yes, a stomper is a boot that's meant for stopping. Doc Martin. I knew that that was the movie. That is literally who I was thinking of when you said Doc Martin. So I am not socially inept. I knew what I was talking about. All right. Yeah. So the word jumper as a slang term for a sweater has always bugged me because, in my mind, given the hierarchy of how British people choose their slang, a jumper would actually be the best term to describe somebody who mugs people. Because in America, to jump somebody is to mug them. You know, you hide behind the corner and you jump them. You hop out with a knife or a gun and you say, "Give me your money." So if somebody is a jumper, they're somebody who jumps somebody. So every time that I read Harry Potter, which is one of my main exposures to just extremely British literature, every time I hear jumper, although I understand that they're talking about sweater because of the context, I think that is definitely the term that should be used for someone who jumps somebody. Yeah, that's entirely too rational for me, Hooples. I prefer to believe that people who mugged other people tended to wear sweaters. You know, they just were well dressed and they jumped out and said, "Give me all your money." And that's why we call it a jumper, because people who jump people wore them. Highwaymen. I read the coach roads. Eggsy wore sweaters. Are you talking about Eggsy in the movies or Eggsy uh, isn't that the famous vandal? Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, see, I like the Kingsman movie, but isn't Eggsy the gorilla spray paint artist? You can link things, Hooples. I just never know with you. Might be one of your Thursday fun movies making fun of me, which I like. They're hilarious. Can't laugh at yourself, you don't deserve to laugh at anything. See, Anna, I've always related bugging out to what cockroaches do. At the first sign of anything that might possibly harm them, they run away in the craziest fashion possible, which exactly explains what preppers think of. It's actually funny because to me, and I'll remember to say this in my bugging out video, preppers actually have such a stereotypical view of what bugging out is that it actually almost makes fun of itself. You can mess with cockroaches. If you've ever seen a cockroach, if you just wave your hand in the air over them, they freak out and run away. And that's exactly what preppers do. Yes, I actually do really like the fight scene from the Kingsman. It's well choreographed, but only because it's so chaotic. I actually do like John Wick fight scenes. They're also a little fantastical, but I appreciate when they're timed well. Oh yeah, and I believe that probably is where it got popular, but I think that it definitely did come from the idea of bugs that run away. I just think it's funny that preppers have adopted it whenever it could be taken in a somewhat derogatory sense. Like, do you really want to be insects that are running away from something, usually in a way that's pretty predictable? I mean, have you ever failed to get bugs? I mean, yeah, sometimes they get away, but it's pretty easy for somebody who's paying attention to know how a bug is going to scurry away and manage to squash it. But I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you, Gray Man. The word prepper has definitely been ruined. That's actually why I've been talking about redefining the term prepper. If not redefining it, then trying to get the community to maybe abandon it and talk about survivalism again. I don't know. It just needs something a little more fundamental that conveys the idea of maintaining your lifestyle, not even just sustainability or green living or prepping or emergency preparedness, but just fortifying your lifestyle, making sure that nothing can change the way that you want to be living. Emergency preparedness lifestyle. Yeah. Hooples, I agree. I've always seen that you were trying to do something there, and I think that is the good way to look at it. Oops. Fortituders. I like it. I don't know. Yeah, I have tried to think of a different way to rebrand the idea. The thing is, you have to do it in a way that millennials will like, if you will. You know, Gen Z and Beyonders. And it's tough to know what they'll like. All right. I'll share my idea. You have to promise not to copyright it. But I've sort of thought of hashtag preposterous. Now, that sounds cheesy, and I believe it sounds cheesy. But young people, the hip hop generation, the word preposterous, the idea that something is preposterous, sounds a little hip. And the idea that something, an emergency catastrophe could happen, like society collapsing, is a little preposterous. But at the same time, for a lot of millennials, actually, we've accepted the idea that things are just going to go to crap, that we live in a world that's going to fall apart. So that idea is not preposterous at all. But the word prep is in there. So if you were to do hashtag prep osterous, it'd be like a oxymoron of, oh, you're right, it's definitely house EDM and not hip hop. But you get, like, I know that a lot of you guys will probably not remember the Unforgivable videos that were so popular. They were sort of a viral video back in the day. But Unforgivable and preposterous sort of ring together in my mind. And I've always liked the hashtag prep osterous as a sort of young and hip way to bring prepping in, sort of do a hashtag on Twitter and Instagram with sort of hip prepping ideas. I don't give an F, man. Well, yeah, there were so many people probably named that already. Forgotten Gen X. We expect bad things every day. And that's sort of the thing is from Gen X on through millennials, Generation Z, so on, the idea of things just getting worse is actually sort of a social phenomenon. It's actually sort of like, if you will, a meme among my generation that the economy is going to collapse. Things are just going to be crap. Just going to be shit from now on, if you will. It's almost so common to believe that among my generation that I actually mean to make videos about it, because so many people in my generation just expect a Great Depression. I mean, if you go up to somebody who's a millennial and say, the economy's going to collapse, you have nothing but crap to deal with for the rest of your life, they're going to say, tell me something new. So, yeah, from about Gen X on, a lot of people have pretty much had this idea that we're screwed. So it's not so much about prepping as that's just a matter of life from now on. Anna, I think it really just comes down to the fact that Gen X does not roll off the tongue like boomers or millennials does. If I'm going to sit here and talk about boomers or millennials or blah, 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 Gen X just does not do it. The collapse generation. Nothing new under the sun. I could think of something. Nothing new under the sun. No, yep, it's all been written before. You're right. Hooples and his links. Just going link crazy tonight, aren't you? What do we got? Unforgivable. Bitch, give me some waffles. I love history, Hooples. Those who learn from history are probably still doomed to repeat it, because those who have been voting did not learn from history. That actually feels like a really deep quote, and you can cite me on that one. Oh, it's incredibly inane and stupid, but for some reason it became viral. I mean, that thing went crazy back in the day, Hooples. And that's the thing. You need to realize that it's just little clips like that that become insanely popular among millennials. And if prepping is going to become popular, it needs to be something like unforgivable. And that's why preposterous has always stuck with me as something that might stick, but time's already passed. TikTok. Don't get me started on TikTok. The fact that I feel like I couldn't get into TikTok already tells me that I'm too old for all this. Need to get somebody far younger than myself to help bring this to the new generation. Hooples just makes links because when Anna clicks on them, it kicks her off the live stream. Anna, that's just your own fault for not knowing how to open a live stream or a link without leaving the live stream. Compression generation. Attention span's gone down to 10 seconds on TikTok. All right, I'm going to be honest. I feel like that dumb older generation person whenever I say this, but TikTok, that actually gives me physical pain. Yeah, that's a level of inane entertainment that I just can't stand. And that actually makes me commiserate with boomers because when I watch a TikTok, it hurts. Like, to me, that is like trying to be like a YouTube channel like Dude Perfect, where they actually do those cool trick shots where it's clear that they've only just videotaped themselves trying to do it 1,000 times until they achieved it. But even then, at least that's a little bit of perseverance. If you're not aware of what TikTok is, it's largely people with absolutely no skill trying to do the things that people with skill try to do, but failing, and then just sharing the 10 seconds where they actually achieved it. No, a boomer is anybody over 30, because that's how old I am. Okay, boomer. No, it's true, Hooples. Most millennials are depressed and more or less lifeless until given a reason to do anything besides that. But I'm going to be honest, that's largely because they've been raised to realize that there is no hope for them. Oh, Anna, what is this about? What's going on? Did I hurt your feelers? I don't even know what I said that might have hurt your feelers. Excuse me. I need to eat my bread. That's true. That's actually what I'm getting at is there's an us versus them mentality. Millennials don't even care if you're an actual boomer. If you're older than them, you're a boomer. You've made fun of them. You've called us stupid for things that are beyond our control. You've left us with the world that is crap. And a lot of millennials are sort of sick of it, to tell you the truth. And none of you guys here, but I'm planning a video. I mean, most people beyond... Oh, shit. The Hooples just called me out. That's good. That's good. I like it. I like it. Damn. But no, a lot of millennials are pretty sick with the older generation. Not necessarily because they're wrong, but because we're going to be all that's left at some point. I mean, that's the sad truth of it. One day there's going to be people who rely on millennials and millennials that are all that's left to rely on. But I'll admit, I'm not in total disagreement with what boomers and Gen Xers and whatever have to say with millennials, because honestly, the showing is pretty sad. Can't even breathe successfully without a cell phone. I mean, that's a product of the situation. If we had discos, I'm sure that we'd be... Oh, no. Drive-in movies. I'm sure if we had drive-in movies, then that's where we'd be procreating. But what we have is Tinder. Boom. Thank you, Gray Man. Gray Man right there points out the exact problem. Calling out millennials for using cell phones, while every single damn boomer out there is using cell phones, but can't acclimate to the use of a cell phone like a millennial can. Because every old person has just as much of a cell phone problem as young people do. The difference is that young people have the neuroplasticity to integrate a cell phone into their lifestyle and still function as a human being. I can't tell you how many old people I have stood there while trying to serve them in the process of my job, and they're sitting there staring at their cell phone and unable to carry on a conversation while doing what they're doing on their cell phone, while millennials can both operate a cell phone and a human conversation at the same time. Like, I mean, you can say what you want about millennials using their phones and driving. The reality is that millennials can actually use their phone and drive at the same time. Boomers literally stop in the middle of the road because they've pulled out their cell phone. And I'm not joking. I've been driving down the road and seen a car stopped dead in the middle of the highway because some old person was sitting there texting on their phone, stopped in a 70-mile-an-hour zone. So, I mean, at least millennials can drive and text. Anybody older seems to be incapable of driving and texting. They just have to stop right there in the road. And they have the right to, because they're older than you. Rant over. And I respect you for that, Hooples. At least you stick to your guns. If you're going to trash talk smartphones, you're not using one. Now, personally, I believe that smartphones have their benefit for everybody. But I also believe that they're not for some people. Yeah, I've never gotten into the iPhones. Can't afford the car. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. A lot of people are living on their parents' dollar, but that's always been the case. And that's fair, Hoobles. But I would argue that smartphones are pretty helpful. I mean, I'm able to learn a lot using my phone. I think that it would be foolish to completely ignore the possibility of having all of the world's information at your grasp at all times. See, I tend to use the cheapest smartphone available. Well, Hoople's like any technology; it's a matter of how it's used by the person using it. I mean, um, if you really look at it, books are the same as smartphones. Oh, see, you said the same thing. Um, if you use a book as simply if you use a smartphone as simply a hyperbook, then what's the problem with it? I mean, if it's a phone that gives you every book available, if you only use it as a phone with every book that's ever existed available to you, then it's better than a phone and it's better than a book. So there's no problem with it. The problem comes when you have people using it as a crutch to either limit their ability to do the things that they were able to do before, like read a book or gain information or access to information. Uh, yeah, Robert, what are you doing here? Um, if you're using it as a way to access information and people who are useful to you, then there's no problem with it. Just like any technology, if you're using it as a way to be decadent and not doing what you should be doing to be productive, then you have a problem. Uh, but whenever people say that smartphones make you dumber as a matter of fact, I disagree with that. I think that I think that people said the same thing about books for similar reasons because it made you lazy by having to learn by being able to read that information and just learn it rather than having to actually earn that information by learning it from somebody. Um, yes, you can become lazy with a smartphone, but you can also become far more informed than you ever would have been capable of doing without a smartphone. Exactly. What Grayman said. I don't even have a PC. I have a laptop, and I very rarely have the time to sit down and use that. Usually, I have a earbud in, and I'm listening to something as I go, and I can gain an apprentice's knowledge of many, many, many subjects while I do something else through the use of my smartphone. And that's where the dichotomy comes, Hooples. It may not be the case for more people, but I truly believe that I'm smarter than I would be if I did not have a smartphone available to me. Um, it may not be the case for most people, but throughout the day, as I work, as I go to the store, as I poop, as I make food, I am listening to information that I'm learning from, whether that is mathematics or history or space technology or prepping. Almost constantly throughout my day, I am learning something from YouTube or various other sources. And so, because of the way that I choose to use it, I'm gaining from it in a way that I don't think I could have without that technology. Now, maybe most people are using it for stupid reasons and are not gaining from it, but that does not mean that it's not a good thing for me. And I believe that, Hooples. I understand that, but I think that that has more to do with human nature than with smartphones. And I agree. I understand that, Hooples, but that's not looking at it with any controls. I mean, I read a lot growing up. If children read a lot growing up and had an understanding and an appreciation for, oh, I no, I absolutely agree. They're changing human nature. But as with anything else, it's the responsibility of the parents and how they raise their children. My parents raised me with an appreciation of learning. Um, and that's what I use my phone for. I use it for connectivity and for learning. Most people are not paying attention to what their kids are doing, and they're not teaching them how to think or how to value what they do with their time. So most of them are using smartphones for dumb things to keep themselves occupied because they have not been taught how to think. But mostly this comes. All right, Robert, I caught up on that last one. That's um, I will agree with you, Hooples, that in large part smartphones are altering human nature. But if good parenting were present, it wouldn't matter. And that's for me what a lot of it comes down to. We can blame what we want, but at the end, it's just crappy parenting. I mean, if parents were as good as they used to be, then we wouldn't have the same problems because parenting can trump out a lot of stuff. And it's still, yeah, Anna is teaching real thinking skills. I believe that if a person is taught to use their phone and any technology properly, then it doesn't matter what the propensity is provided by that technology. Um, if you were somebody who was lazy when books came around, then books probably helped you to be lazy in how you learned. Uh, Smartphones make that astronomically easier, but at the same time, if you are a critically thinking person, smartphones are just a tool. But yes, for the majority of people, it is a hindrance to have that much recreation available so easily. And yeah, I mean, if we're talking about the grand scope of society, then I would agree that um, smartphones are a hindrance to most of them. But again, it just comes down to how they're raised and what they're taught with and the tools they're given. Yes, Hooples, you make it hard to disagree with. Everybody is definitely the smartest they can be nowadays, regardless of how dumb they are. Hey, Norseman, how you doing? No, we're going to let the dwarf conspiracy theory continue on for quite a while. I'll be right back. Anna is always behind the door. Oh, you want the tiny home video so you can prove that it's actually just a proportionately normal sized video, home video. You know, Hooples, you're an American. You might not be a United States citizen, but you live in North America, and that makes you an American just as much as a Mexican, United Statesian, or Canadian. If you want to sit here and make fun of Americans, you can all day long, but it's actually a grammatically incorrect way to make fun of other people besides yourself. All right? Oh, good night, Prepared Norseman. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah, no, I definitely urinate and then stand there for the appropriate amount of time that I would otherwise be washing my hands. Then I come back. The question is, do you actually believe that I can transfer bacteria through the internet? Because if the internet can transfer bacteria, technological applications are insane. An American is an Englishman who went nuts. An American is an Englishman with some self-respect. Only an Englishman would let a woman he's never met dictate his life. I tell you what, this weather is playing a havoc with my skin. We still here? Let me know if you can hear me right now. Might need to start wrapping this up if my internet's having some trouble. Yeah, I'm not getting any comment updates, so if you guys are seeing this, it might be about time to wrap it up. Definitely having a little bit of connectivity issues. All right. Well, I'll probably wrap it up. I can see you guys in the chat, but it seems that I'm not going to be able to continue with the video here. I think StreamYard might be able to get anything from you guys unless I sit here on my phone. So I think I'm going to call it a night. Thank you, everybody, for dropping in. Appreciate you being here. It's been a really good chat, but apparently we're experiencing technical difficulties. So I'll catch up on what you guys have been saying, but we will call it a night. Appreciate you being here. Hope you guys are all having a happy new year and a good evening. Hope everything goes well for you in the new year and you have some good goals and progress towards. Hope you all have a good night tonight. Apologize for the technical difficulties. Thank you guys all. Yeah, I don't think it's an EMP. Definitely seem to be having a little too much function for an EMP. Americans are just Britishers with money and functional plumbing. Yeah, this is very interesting. Good night tonight and a happy new year. Hopefully we'll be back here soon doing this again. No, not in Virginia. Yes, the cloud definitely had too much champagne. Couldn't handle the new year. All right, well, let's go ahead and call it a night, probably. I think that might be a good indication of time to wrap it up. But thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your company. Hope you're all having a good new year. Hope you all have good goals to work towards. That was definitely a fun little hiccup to have. Hooples is going to go nap for an hour. How late? How much longer do you have to work there, Hooples? Little bourbon left. Two and a half hours. Well, good luck there, Hooples. Definitely plenty of time to catch up on some audiobooks. Too bad you don't know about any channels that have an hour-long audiobook reading for you to go back and catch up on. Really too bad. Anyways, just kidding. You guys have a good night. Bourbon stunts your growth, as does vaping. I believe it. But the world's not ready for me if I was at my full potential, Hooples. That's why I do what I do. Oh, GMO's got some fitness-related goals going on. Very good. Very good. I'm trying to figure out how to talk about fitness without it making everybody hate me. I need to make more time for making my videos in 2020. I definitely want to get back on track to what I was doing before. I used to be doing 3 videos a day. And yes, bourbon is good for you. It's true. Being a dwarf is good. Less caloric demands, less profile for being shot at. You're more readily ignored in social situations, in which case it might be good just to be able to slip away. Although there is a propensity for being discriminated against, which isn't good. But yeah, I could see how being a dwarf would be pretty essential to survival, which is good because that's what I am. Exactly, Anna. If you were to be in pure, total peak fitness, the world wouldn't be able to handle you. It's the best explanation. Hey, Dill, how you doing? We got the Buhajideen. Yeah, Gray Man. That's the thing is I would like to talk about fitness, but at the same time, it's a quick way to become unpopular. It's sort of the catch-22. You want to come up with that topic that calls everybody else out, because calling people out is actually pretty popular. But at the same time, if you actually really call people out, they don't like it. All right. Well, I would think I might call that it, guys. I'm sorry, Dill, for heading out when you drop in, but we were just wrapping this up, actually. I think it's about time for me to maybe hit the sack and get ready for a new day. Got a couple of days of cleaning up and getting ready for Prepper's daughter to come visit. And hopefully, while I'm doing that, make a couple videos, do a live stream or something like that. Yeah, sorry, Dill. I wish I could hang around, but it's been a night of alcohol consumption and chatting, so I think it's about time for me to call it a night. Yeah, I agree, man. It's a quick way to become unpopular. Toothpaste on it. It's dying down. I think it's about done anyway. But is that something that's supposed to work? I just put baking soda on the bad ones. Oh, I'll check it out. Well, thank you. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for dropping in. Sorry, Dill, for wrapping it up so soon after you drop in. And thank you. Happy New Year to you, too. Oh, it's the zinc. Okay. Interesting. Thank you. I'll definitely check it out. Oh, yeah. I don't think anybody is properly wrapped down for Christmas. But it's about time, too. I gotta clean up and get ready for visitors. Leave it up. Yeah, definitely. If you leave your Christmas tree up, you'll be ready for 2020. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for dropping in. I'm going to call that a night. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you chatting. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you all improve your finances, your fitness, and your fortitude for 2020. And I hope that I see you soon in the upcoming Let's Talk About Prepping videos and stuff here in the new year. All right. Thanks for dropping in, guys. Hope you all have a good night, good morning, and whatever it is to you right now. Like Hoople said, definitely be happier than you were before. Hope you're all doing well. Hope everybody's happy. Everybody stay safe out there.